Well, hello everyone. Just a moment ago, I went live for like 7 minutes and it was great. But then I realized when I was finished that it wasn't truly live. So this time I believe I am actually live. It's been 41 seconds. And welcome if you're watching, welcome if you're watching later to a brief video I'm going to make about what happened for me this weekend as a musician. I had the delight and the blessing to go to a church in my area and coach their worship team. I was able to start working with the keyboard players. Three of their musicians play keys on the team, and I was able to coach them a little bit before I worked with the full rhythm section and all the singers. Well, in working with the keyboard players, I shared with them, among other things, the fact that I love the interval of a sixth. And that's created in the key of G, for example. You take any pitch in the scale and then count down sixth. That's where they get the name, sixth. You count down 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's a sixth. And if you move to the left or to the right to the neighboring keys, you get a beautiful what they call sequence of parallel sixth. Those intervals are all moving in parallel shapes. Well, I shared with the team that one of my influence as a keyboard player and as a musician is Johannes Brahms, a great 19th century composer. Wrote amazing piano pieces, gorgeous sonatas for cello and piano, symphonies, just fantastic music. If you want to listen to the Brahms Fourth Symphony, for example, it's one of my favorites, and full of uses of the sixth that are just fantastic, and the variety and beauty they bring melodically to the pieces he writes. And so I got an encouraging note from the worship leader today that yesterday in their services, one of the keyboard players I had coached was actually using some sixth in what she played for the worship set. And I thought that was pretty cool that within less than 24 hours, someone had incorporated a new influence in their keyboard playing. Amazing, excellent. So then today, then I got to work with the full worship team. And one of the things I talked with them was something I thought I'd share with you here as well. The fact that when I listen to great arrangements of songs that I enjoy, one of the things I'm noticing for years now is that in arrangements, we often don't hear the full rhythm section involved from the top of the song. We might hear an intro that's just a piano line or a guitar line. We might hear a string quartet playing an intimate moment for the intro. And then as the sections of the song progress, we gradually can hear instruments added to the verse or the chorus as they come along in the timeline from beginning to end. So that is something that can influence what we do as musicians in a worship team or an ensemble of any genre. Give some thought to imitating what we can hear on recordings and even live performances that can influence what we do as musicians. Ask yourself, am I giving away too much at the top of the song where there's nowhere to go in terms of instrumentation? Am I having all my singers at the start of the worship song, for example, all sing the melody with parts? Or do I present perhaps just a solo vocal on the first verse, maybe add a duet vocal on the first chorus, and then on the second verse, have a few more vocalists come in. And then when the bridge comes around, if there is one, that could be a great place, for example, to what I call blow out all the singers, get all the singers involved and make it a really climactic moment. Same with the band. So anyway, those are some examples of influences. Influences for me from Brahms in his compositions using the sixth. Influences for me and worship teams like the team I worked with this weekend, who are listening as they play the song, being thoughtful about whether they want to join on that first verse or wait till the second verse and so forth. Now, thirdly, I wanted to mention that today I got to do one of my favorite things of the week, and that's coach songwriters. I teach songwriting for Concordia Lutheran down in Irvine, California, and excuse me, squirrel. I'm making sure I'm live. I'm still live. Yay! That's a good thing when you tell people you're going live. So with the student today, he's written a beautiful lullaby. Speaking of lullabies. Waltzes like I played when I started the video behind the blur, but he's written a beautiful song that could be classified a lullaby because it's just, you can just tell it's about helping a child go to sleep and whatever. And one of the things we've discovered together is that there are chords that can enhance or almost illustrate sonically these beautiful, tender images of the baby falling asleep in a mother or dad's or grandparents or uncles, whatever, holding a tiny human when they help them go to sleep. And music is a sweet way to help that happen. So anyway, things like instead of just a D chord to end the song, he's going from an A minor to a D7 and then to the G. And what we discovered is there's a chord slightly more involved in the D7, which is called a D7, 13. It's got the note B in it. So then, instead of going A minor, finally to the G. So we hear this. Beautiful resolution from that B added up top in the voicing, whatever, but it's a beautiful color. All that to say, I have been influenced. This young songwriter created a beautiful melody inspired by who knows what he may have heard as a baby or heard along the way in his life, but now he's written something that's got some really tender lyrics, and he's found some chords that musically enhance what he's writing sonically. So for those of you who are keyboard players like me, listen, find something that inspires you. For me, for years, it's been a pianist named Bruce Hornsby, written incredible virtuoso, but also an incredible pop songwriter, and an incredibly dynamic live performer on the piano. And as I mentioned, Johannes Brahms for me as a classical musician, and really just as an arranger, writing using the interval of the sixth. Yeah, so be inspired. And I wanted to mention as I close here, this student who's written the lullaby, the songwriter, I've been inspired by a piece I discovered, a lullaby that was on a TV show that Meryl Streep sings, and it's a gorgeous example of how music and lyric and a vocal, and there's actually a vocal duet that happens in the song as well, and a beautiful cello line that comes in. Lots of elements in that particular performance are inspiring, and I would hope for me that as a songwriter, as an arranger, as one who creates music to present to listeners like you, that something of the beauty of what they attained in terms of the arrangement, the piano playing, the cello, the vocal performance, just absolutely beautiful, and the lyric writing as well, just spectacular. So I'll put a link to that performance in the comments below, and I would love it if you take a moment to provide a link or just describe something that's inspired you through the years, because it's so exciting that we as musicians can inspire someone else with something that's inspired us, and it can literally create ripples in the musical, I don't know if you'd say universe, or the library of songs that exist or recordings that exist, by applying some of those things that have inspired us as we create new music to release, like I'm doing regularly and will keep doing because I love to do it. And I appreciate you listening today. And again, take some moments and write below in the comments something that inspires you. And I'll go behind my blur again and play us out as I end. Thanks for watching.